In general, I don't like horror movies. I don't care for gory movies that just revel in terror and grotesque ways to be bloodier than all the others. However, I appreciate the art of suspenseful storytelling, and a movie that's scary as opposed to being gratuitously violent is commendable, even if it's not my favorite genre of movie entertainment. Over the years, I've seen few scary movies, but the following movies stand out because I consider them to be good at scaring the audience, and more specifically, me. This list won't contain The Exorcist or any of the Halloween movies or the entire Friday the 13th franchise because I didn't see them as they crossed the line into horror or mindless slasher movies. They're fine for some people, but they're just not my thing. The following are 10 movies I consider to be the best scary movies I've seen. Carrie, 1976. Probably the scariest movie I've ever seen. I literally jumped out of my seat during the graveyard scene nearing the end of the movie. The movie earned its R rating due to violence, gory scenes, and very disturbing images. I don't recommend it for teenagers or anyone who doesn't like scary movies. It's very suspenseful in parts, and director Brian De Palma did a good job for making it a memorable and scary movie, even though the ending was sad. Fright Night, 1985. A very good modern vampire movie. It had a lot of suspense, a few big scares, some well-placed humor, grotesque creature effects, and a really good villain. The sense of peril seemed real, which made the final conflict between Charlie and the vampire more dramatic. Roddy McDowall is also terrific in this movie, and it's a scary movie that I don't mind watching again. The Blair Witch Project, 1999. Very creepy and terrifying without being gory. The suspense of the unknown provides most all of the scares in this movie, as well as the confusion experienced by the group as they try and repeatedly fail to leave the spooky wooded area. The end of the movie was creepy and allowed viewers to provide their own explanations for what may have happened. The Shining, 1980. Once again, most of the suspense is in the unknown supernatural elements, although toward the end, disturbing images and violence took over. Jack Nicholson's progressively unhinged character is particularly memorable. It's a stylish movie, as is expected from director Stanley Kubrick, with some startling blood and creature effects. Alien, 1979. A gross-out movie in space that essentially just eliminated crew members one by one in gruesome and horrifying ways. It wasn't my favorite movie, but I appreciated the suspense and scares that director Ridley Scott provided. This is something for horror movie fans rather than science fiction fans, and it was Sigourney Weaver's first major film role. Duel, 1971. Originally shown as a TV movie, Duel was directed by Steven Spielberg, and he used a lot of the techniques of film suspense created by Alfred Hitchcock. The menacing and mysterious truck, the sudden and relentless attacks, and growing sense of terror experienced by Dennis Weaver's character made this memorable and entertaining. It is, in my opinion, one of Spielberg's best movies. Night of the Living Dead, 1968. A low-budget movie directed by George Romero that went on to become the definitive movie about zombies. Filmed in black and white and without big-name stars, this was very stylish, had great suspense, and ultimately a tragic ending. Poltergeist, 1982. Directed by Tobe Hooper. Who can forget the memorable phrase, "They're here," made famous in this movie? I loved how an ordinary family living in the suburbs was put into extraordinary circumstances, battling supernatural elements and creatures. This movie was spooky without being gory, and the scares didn't feel gratuitous. It's more enjoyable to experience this scary movie with others. Ghost, 1990. Most people remember this movie as a romantic tearjerker, but it was more accurately a scary movie with a romantic story as its premise. There were funny moments, most notably provided by Whoopi Goldberg. Even so, the scenes when the wraith creatures drag the victims to their doom definitely gave me goosebumps. The ending was satisfying and positive, but bittersweet nonetheless. Christine, 1983. Adapted by the book from Stephen King, it was very similar to the story in the movie Carrie, with an outcast gaining incredible power only to be destroyed by it at the end. Even so, it's unique, well-paced, and scary, with another tragic ending. So that's my list. Those are what I consider to be the best scary movies that I've seen. What are your favorites? Please list them in the comments section below. If you're in the mood for a good scare, check out one of the movies I suggested and watch it with the lights out. Happy Halloween! Cut and print. That's a wrap.